Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Yep.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is...
Ya boy, Rasco.
your boy Rasco, indeed. So we're here today to continue our fan film reviews. Rasco, what are we reviewing today?
I think it's called One-on-One.
Mm-hmm.
It like the YouTube video itself is just called One-on-One, but it's like a Superman story.
Yep.
Was that like at the very end of the fan film?
Yep. I was looking on the guy's channel to see if I could find a trailer for this. I figured it's so short that probably wasn't going to happen, but I didn't realize this when I picked it. This is the guy that did Tiny Superman, which won the Superman Celebration fan film contest a number of years back, and that's a really funny-ass series that we should also talk about at some point in the future. But anyway, this is the first Superman fan film we've discussed on this show, and it's a good start, I'd like to think. What do you think of it, Rasco?
Yeah, this was pretty good. This was like, I think of the kinds of fan films we get, this is probably my favorite one. So we've got like the three genres of fan film. We've got the ones that are more or less just kind of like a scene or like a few scenes that are kind of meant to show off technical prowess. There's like the really ambitious ones that are like trying to use as much effects as they possibly can to like build the world, and that would be like the Storm fan film.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this kind of fan film, which I think falls into the, like, it's like on the other side. I think the one that is kind of like between this and the Storm fan film would be like the Static Shock fan film.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm on like that camp. Like these are the fan films that I typically like the most.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I picked this was like really toward more your sensibilities for fan films. And yeah, when it's done well, it's so enjoyable. Like,
Yeah.
This is just, like, watching back through it the second time for this recording, I definitely noticed things that I didn't the first time. Like, I feel the actress is a little weak and has some, like, kind of forced delivery from time to time, and even Clark Kent does at points, but you know what? I still tear up a little bit when she talks about getting passed around from foster home to foster home. That still happened to me. That hit me hard. Like the acting is by no means bad, and it's superior to a lot of acting in fan films, but it's definitely, I think, the biggest problem with this, which isn't saying much because it's not so bad that it's distracting.
No, yeah, I would probably agree. It's one of the things where, yeah, it's not always great, but when it's really on, it's really on. Like, there are like a few moments where it's like on point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where maybe just a couple more takes or something could have saved it, but who knows. So, like, for people that didn't watch this but watch our review for whatever reason, the basic story of this goes that this runaway is in a park, and Clark Kent walks up to her, steals her lighter, and convinces her that he'll give it back to her after a 10-question interview. That is a lie. I counted. There are 15 questions. Clark Kent asks her 15 questions in total. Though they're pretty coy about that. They even have him at one point say, "I'm going to go with 4." When he is already like 6 in. which is, Superman's a cheater. Awful fan film. Can't count. And so we just like reveal things about this girl's past and use that as a lens to talk about the stuff that it's not that Superman can't solve it, it's that the ways in which Superman could quote unquote solve the problem would just prolong the problem. And I thought that was a really, really interesting thing to do in a fan film. Rather than try to show Superman, like, lifting a car or whatever, it's deal with something that, like, can Superman deal with this? Yes, but why doesn't he? And that's what Clark Kent is for. And I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those Superman fan films that kind of, like, reaffirms why it's important for there to be the dual life of Superman. Like, this is why it's important that he doesn't just always wear the moniker of Superman. Like, why he has to have the other half of his life being Clark Kent.
Yeah, and what I really like about that is, it takes the thing of Clark Kent is Superman. Superman is Clark Kent. He doesn't not wear the cape and stuff for himself. He doesn't do that. He doesn't live the life of Clark Kent so that he can have a personal life. And, like, there are things, like, I just finished watching Superman the Animated Series, and as a passing line, he says, well, I can't be Superman 24/7, I'll go crazy. No, Clark Kent is Superman 24/7. He's just Superman in a very different way when he's Clark Kent. And that's the thing I really like about it. Like, if you scroll through the comments on this video, like, the top-rated one is, sometimes it takes Clark Kent to be Superman. I really, really like that interpretation. That this perfectly captures that for me.
Yeah, it's also really important that it's specifically not Superman that helps this person, because she has, like, this big issue with, like, I don't even necessarily believe that there is such a thing as Superman. So if Superman comes and starts, giving her advice or asking her these questions, it doesn't work. It has to be someone who's not Superman who does this.
Yep.
Even though he is Superman. But that's what works about it.
Yep. I really like that. I love the way that they quickly build up this relationship. Like, she's immediately, are you a thief or are you a perv? I like that, and then the way that pays off at the end. Like, it's a 10-minute film, but it has a payoff, right?
Yeah, it does. There's a little bits of payoff, setup and payoff in this that are just, like, it's just, again, like, when you see something that actually does this kind of just very basic set up this and then pay it off. Set up this little detail and then we'll use that again later. Like, when you see a fan film, and it's so simple and you just don't even notice it when you watch, like, good movies that you see in theaters, but you notice it when you're watching fan films that don't get that right. And no, I agree.
And, like, another thing I really like about this, to go back again to the Clark Kent thing, is they'd never do this in a Hollywood film. You would never have 10 minutes in a Hollywood Superman film devoted to Clark Kent solving someone, or just listening to someone's problems. Not solving it for them, listening to someone's problems and using that interaction to change their life. I mean, there have been great Superman movies made, don't get me wrong, but they would never take the time to do this. Like, no studio would let this scene stay in the movie.
Yeah, it'd be hard to also, like, write a Superman movie that kind of gets to this place where you introduce a character that's not Superman, and it's kind of more about her than Superman. That's another reason why you wouldn't get this in a Superman movie, is because you'd have to, like, literally just set up this other character that is not Superman in the Superman movie and have them kind of be the more, like, center of the film for a little bit, and it'd just kind of be weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, maybe in some world, like, could you imagine if this was the Superman movie, like, right when the feet take off the ground, we stop following her and start following him for the rest of the film? Like, if this was our prologue, that could be amazing. Again, no studio will ever do that.
That would be really cool. That is exactly how you could work this into a Superman movie, though. Like, that's actually exactly it.
That would probably immediately make it the greatest Superman movie of all time. But
Wow.
regardless of all that, this is the kind of Superman I like, where he is 24/7. Superman is saving people, and he's doing it in like this is the most. This is the most Republican Superman ever, where he's not lecturing people, he's not forcing people to change, he is giving people the opportunity to change themselves, and that's a really beautiful thing with Superman. He is giving people the tools and the realizations they need to change themselves.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of like what I think Henry Cavill's Clark Kent could be.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, like this is like it kind of felt like this could work in like the Man of Steel Superman in a way. Just kind of the actor for some reason, it kind of felt like almost like he was playing like kind of Henry Cavill Superman.
Well, I mean, they used some of the soundtrack from Man of Steel at the beginning, and just generally, we got a little bit of it in BVS extended cut with Superman actually doing, journalism.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could kind of see a similar thing where he's like genuinely interested in what people have to say, and he cares about people, and it's obvious. So I could see that. That'd be a really one hell of a way to redeem Man of Steel 2.
Yeah.
But not even to compare it to that, because I think this movie is just this film is just so short and so perfect. It feels like reading, not even a full one-shot comic. It feels like reading a short story in like a Superman annual or something. That's what this feels like. It reminds me of, if I was going to pick a Superman that this reminded me of, it would definitely be All-Star Superman, because there's a very similar thing, and it's not Clark Kent, it is Superman, but like this has almost a direct parallel in All-Star Superman, where there's a girl who's literally on the edge of a building, and she's trying to call her therapist, and just everything in the world is working against her at this time. Like the cell phone signal can't get through. Her therapist is stuck in traffic and he can't get to her. And just as she's about to step, Superman shows up and tells her, your therapist is just running behind in traffic, but he does care. You're not alone. And he convinces her not to jump. And like that's very much the same kind of Superman moment here. And I really like that about this. You have this girl, and we don't know what she's planning to do before this. We just know she is a runaway. She's running away from something. We don't know exactly how she got pregnant, but there's a big fucking hint about it. And, seeing her throw away that pack of cigarettes in this is a very, very powerful, very, emotionally resonant scene.
Yeah, and it's again, I think that's just kind of like a very Superman thing, just smoking in general, advising people not to smoke. But it works though, because it doesn't feel like they can like contrived that to be like a character trait. Like I know a ton of like teenage girls that fucking smoke cigarettes, and so I don't know, like that just like I like that.
Mm-hmm. And it just works, and like with the lighter, and I like that there's so much revealed, but so much left unsaid. In what we find out about this girl, about Sarah. We get this idea that, oh well, it was my father's lighter. We don't know how her parents died. We know that they died when she was 2. We know she bounced around from home to home, and it is strongly implied that she got pregnant from one of her foster parents, and that's why she's running away. That's not necessarily the thing that happened, but that's the implication I got. How about you?
I think that definitely makes sense for like that to me. That makes sense as like the last straw kind of thing, like why she would have run away.
Gotcha.
So I mean, like that works. I don't know. I didn't necessarily think that because I've only seen this once, but I didn't necessarily think that. But you saying that does make sense. Like that, and I don't need them to say that, but I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, I really like that. So much is revealed, so much is left unsaid. That is a really, really powerful way to write. Like, you know, and you realize just how damn good a reporter Clark Kent is because it does the mystery kind of thing where it gives you all the tools to solve it yourself. It just doesn't bother to explain it to you. Clark Kent looks at the lighter and goes, "When did your parents die?" That's a really strong scene. Because, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. She's a runaway, yet she has her father's lighter. If she hates her parents or hates her home so much and is running away from it, why is she keeping this? It's because they're not her real parents. That's a really strong scene. And it's just really well written. Just fundamentally, this is a well written fan film.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like that's what I really like about it is that like there's nothing about this that is held back by the fact that it's a fan film at all. So it's really that's what really works about it. And that's probably why like these are the kind of fan films that I like the most.
Okay, what'd you think about just the way it was shot?
I liked it. I think that my favorite thing was just the very end when the Superman boots walk on. I just thought that was really cool.
Oh, I love the red boots and the cape, and then he just kind of like effortlessly goes up. Ooh, that was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a little iffy on all the like transition or just quick city shots in the very beginning. I don't know how necessary those are. Or like what they...
I was surprised that they were there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not hard to get footage like that, especially with drones nowadays. That could have been like, you know, just either drone footage or stock video shot from a drone or helicopter in city. It's not super hard to do in this day and age. So I mean, it looks good. I just don't know like if it really adds much because it doesn't feel like Metropolis. That might be more the what you call it with the trolley in the background of the park.
Okay.
You know, like we start out in a subway, and for me, when I think Metropolis, I think like above ground rails kind of stuff. What do they call that? Amtraks or whatever, where it's like on a bridge and monorail. There we go. That just like Metropolis just has such more of like a sleek and modern feel to me. That shooting an actual American city just doesn't seem to quite do it justice. So I would have just preferred that it all take place in the park and let that be it. I don't feel that the city shots really added to anything.
I don't know. I was surprised that they were there. It didn't really bother me. There was something I was about to say. I forgot what it was. Fuck.
Professional reviewer, Rasco Jackson.
I was gonna say this. This is what one of my. I really liked how. This is completely off what you were talking about. I don't have anything else to say about the city shots. That they were fine. Okay. Didn't really bother me. But to go back for a second, I really like after we do the little introduction to the lighter. So like we get a little shot of the lighter, and then we see her in the park. And then like when Superman comes or when Clark walks up to her, and she gets up and leaves. I like how she like looks for her lighter because she wants to light her cigarette, and then she looks back, and it just like they just kind of do like a one shot where they don't like do a separate shot of Clark Kent. It's like it goes from focusing on her and they just change the focus to him in the background, just like, oh, I have a lighter, like, and he's just kind of playing around like, oh, look at this lighter I found. Those are my favorite shots in the fan film.
I
really
love focus changes. I love focus changes almost as much as I love silhouettes, and I am addicted to silhouettes. Like, if you put silhouettes in your movie, I'm gonna have a hard time not liking it. If you strongly utilize silhouettes, I'm gonna have a hard time not going, oh, that's really cool. I don't care if the story's bad, that's really cool. So, like, this doesn't do silhouettes, but it does the focus change, and I do like that. I just like that. It's just... It's such a basic thing, but it just looks so cool when you change focus. And they do it a couple times in this, but that is the most notable.
You'll like... have you seen Logan yet? You like Logan if you like focus changing.
Still need to see Logan. No, but I agree that shot's really cool. I like the shot. I think they had their own drone, because I don't know how else they get that shot over her head when she looks up at the sky.
Yeah, it would either have to be a drone or like a crane arm, which like I'm not like an actual like mechanical crane, but like you can find
monopods and do it with that.
Yeah, you can find weird shit like that online. That's not like super expensive. It could have been that. It was either a drone or like a little crane thing.
I'm reasonably sure it was a drone just because of one of the city shots.
Yeah, that's what leads me to believe it might be a drone, is just because that would either have to be like stock footage that they just had or like bought or something like that, or like licensed, or they shot that with a drone.
The stock, like the film quality looks identical is the thing for me. So that's what leads me to say drone. And like it's really cool, all the stuff that we're getting done with drones this day and age. Drones
are awesome.
Yeah, drones are really helping out low budget filmmaking, and it's just cool to see that used in a fan film. There's another Superman, I guess, yeah, you can call it a Superman fan film. You ever seen Superman with a GoPro?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, they just shot that all with a drone, but it's cool as shit. You can call that a Superman fan film if you wanted. And yeah, they just shot it all with a drone and then put the actors' hands in on green screen, and it looks pretty good. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they used a drone in this. Like I'm like a good 75% certain on that one. And it's just neat to see that. That's something you otherwise would not be able to pull off in a fan film, if not for the evolving technology and all that stuff. And it's just good direction. It's such a great visual cue to have her look up, because that is the moment in which she believes in Superman. And I really, really like that about it. And again, I love the lesson that Clark teaches her. Is like, he's able to convince her to stop smoking, and to make some kind of life change. She's still running away, but to make some kind of life change, just because of a conversation with a stranger, and that's what makes Clark Kent Superman. And so it's all perfectly captured in a visual cue of just having the character to look up. And, that's when she learns to believe. I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like stories where not a whole lot changes in terms of, like, literally the circumstances almost the same, but the attitude changes. One of my favorite movies is 8 Mile, and that's, like, literally the end of that movie is almost... everyone is almost in the exact same place that they were in the beginning. They just have different attitudes towards where they are in life, and it just completely it's like so crazy how someone can literally have very few changes totally impact the way and their demeanor, and like what they're going to do after that is going to be completely different than what it would have been if they hadn't had this change of demeanor, I guess. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's just a really cool. It's a very effective character arc for Sarah in a very short amount of time. Like not even 10 minutes. It's less than 10 minutes, because I think that her moment of change, or her opportunity of change, is after she starts to try to walk away that second time. And then he asks her, that like, what is it? Does he say, are you pregnant or whatever? Or, but you're pregnant.
He asked her a few questions, and then she gets up and she's walking away, but he's like, but you're pregnant, right?
Yeah,
And then she's like, what?
Yep, and like so you're more than halfway into the thing at that point, and that's when she starts to have a character arc. So it's like really, it's just effective writing, it's effective direction, and that's just really cool. It's just really neat to see that. Also, we break the 180 rule. I hate that like people treat the 180-degree rule in directing like it's some kind of holy grail that can never be broken when movies do it all the goddamn time.
Break all the fucking time.
Yeah, we break the 180.
Watch No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Like, watch that fucking movie.
Yeah, we broke the 180-degree rule, and you know what? It still looks good. I did not get confused of who was looking where. It was fine. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good quality fan film. It's just wholly enjoyable. I talked a little bit about the acting, but yeah, I think unfortunately the acting's probably the weakest part about this, but at the same time, it's not like distracting bad, or it's not even really, it's definitely not even bad. It's just there are a couple of awkward deliveries here and there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like one of those things where, again, these kind of fan films, like, we don't have to worry. This movie doesn't have to worry about you laughing at like them attempting to do things that they aren't really capable of. Mm-hmm. So like because it doesn't try to reach too far in the technical aspects, you don't have as much of that stuff to talk about. Whereas like typically all of the things that you could say about acting in this, you could also say about those ones that are hilariously bad for other reasons.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't talk about it there because there are more glaring issues. With this, it's so generally quality that you have to talk about it differently.
Yeah, and that's like a good sign that you have to go to other things that you normally just wouldn't get around to. And I like, the actress has more dialogue than Clark Kent here. And it's like it depends on the take for me. Like, some takes she's really, really strong, and then other takes I'm just like, I don't know. Like, when she's making the deal to do the interview, and she's like, I got a few questions for you first. That's kind of an awkward delivery, and I can tell that she's, reading a line or whatever. Not necessarily that she's reading it, but that she's doing a read of a line. But then when she, says some of the stuff about Superman, that should come off the most like it's a line read, and I don't know, I buy it the most at that point.
Yeah, I liked it when she was just kind of getting into her rant. I thought she was really good at that point. When she's just ranting about Superman and how he probably doesn't exist. I thought she was really good in that little segment of it.
I don't know how anyone could not believe Superman exists if you're in the world where Superman exists.
Well, there's some people that don't. There are some other things in this world that you'd think people would all agree on that they don't. So.
I understand that, but at a certain point, it's like, come on. Especially if you live in a metropolis, I just don't understand how you don't know someone who was saved by Superman, Like, a dude saves the world every other weekend, so...
Yeah, it could be a thing of, like, she doesn't actually... Maybe it's not that she doesn't actually not believe in Superman. She doesn't want to believe in Superman. Like, there's no way something that good can exist when my life is so shit. Like, it's kind of like that, I feel.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just one of those things where, like, as a comic fan, I know you're right. That would totally be a thing. People don't believe in the moon landing, but they believe in professional wrestling in America. You're probably right. There would be people who are like, oh, Superman, it's all special effects. I'm like, come on.
I mean, they're literally, the reason I say is, like, there's like a whole thing with flat Earth that's coming around again right now.
Oh,
There's a legit movement of flat earthers. It's really strange.
Yeah, you're right. Point retracted. Oh my word. What are we? What is this world? I was talking to a guy at work the other day, and you'll appreciate this the most, Resco. There was a meme of, like, man walks on moon in 1967, and this person goes, man, I wonder what other amazing advancements we'll make over the next 50 years. 2017. Man locks himself in car with windows up to prove that babies and dogs are cowards. You're right. We're all fucked. We need a Superman, dude. We really do. And, to get back to the fan film, just generally, this approach really works for me the most. Everyone has their version of Superman. My version of Superman is the savior metaphor. I love the savior story with Superman. I know some people like the more rough and tumble Superman. Some people like he's just a guy trying to do his best. I really like the savior Superman, and I feel like the savior Superman is the Superman that's Superman when he's Clark Kent too. Mm-hmm. And so this just really works for me. We don't know anything about the Superman really, except that as Clark Kent, this is how he decides to spend his quote-unquote free time. And I just love the hell out of that. That is a great
it's just
approach.
like the very fact that this is what he's choosing to do while being Clark Kent tells you everything you need to know about this Superman.
Yep. And I would, this is kind of old at this point, but I would love to see another thing done with this actor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You could totally get away with just doing the adapting the scene from All-Star Superman. All you need to be able to do is make it look like he's floating, and that's not exceptionally hard. It is in fact easier than flying. Doing it off the edge of a building, I can think of some ways to make it happen. Probably just shoot it on a green screen, but it's so fits with this Superman that I would love to see this actor pull it off and be in the full costume and everything. Because it's really enjoyable. I love this.
Damn. Superman had to come in and class up all these fan films we've been reviewing. We get this motherfucker.
Man, we've been doing some pretty good fan films overall. We had Rain and Harley was pretty good.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th and Kong, not so much, but... Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to ratings, unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good to go ahead and get to the rating.
Okay. What would you rate this fan film, Rasco?
You know what? Fuck it! This gets 5 cigarettes out of 5!
Yeah, I gotta agree. This gets 5 out of 5 Superman red boots. This is just a damn good fan film. I got a little bit of a complaint about the actress. I've got a little bit of a complaint about the city shots.
A little complaint about the shitty. Like, you can't go from little to shitty that quick.
My bad. No, I got I'm a little iffy on the city shots. Neither one are enough for me even to remove half a point. The good so outweighs any problem I have with this, and it left me wanting more, which is always the best kind of feeling. We didn't talk too much about it, but it's scored really well.
Yeah.
It uses really good music. One of them is the Man of Steel from Man of Steel. I'm not sure what the ending song is. It's definitely too optimistic for Man of Steel. But yeah, just good ass fan film. Okay, Rascal, what are we going to be talking about next time?
We're going to be talking about a fan film that might be really fucking awesome because I just clicked on the video and I scrolled through a second of it and it looks amazing. It's called Mortal Kombat: The Chosen One.
Oh, cool. All right. Should be fun. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Beta Male Cuck.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.